They came, but they left too soon. These Nigerian footballers kept their name into the hearts of fans across generations. But fate, as cruel as it can be, cut their journey short, leaving behind memories, legacies, and echoes of what could have been. These are Nigerian players who sadly passed away, but whose impact on the beautiful game will never be forgotten. We have Samuel Okwaraji. There's something haunting about Samuel Okwaraji's story, not just because of how it ended, but because of how much he carried with him. A footballer who doubled as a lawyer, not just a degree, but a master's in international law from the University of Rome. And while most would have chosen between courtroom and the pitch, Samuel chose both. Born in Olu, Imo State, he chased football like he chased knowledge, with fierce, uncompromising dedication. His professional journey touched clubs across Europe. AS Roma's youth team gave him a start, but it was Dynamo Zagreb where he left one of his first imprints, scoring a hat-trick in a friendly, a reminder that he didn't just wear the shirt, he wore pride with it. In Austria, with Klagenfurt, and later in Germany with VfB Stuttgart and SSV Ulm, he was a fan favorite, a workhorse with flair and intelligence. And there was the international team, the green jersey, 8 caps, 1 goal, and a legacy that towers above his numbers. His lightning strike against Cameroon in the 1988 African Cup of Nations still lives as one of the fastest goals in AFCON history. But it wasn't just goal, it was him. His hair flared out like a halo, and he ran like he was every Nigerian dream with him. Then came August 12, 1989, a World Cup qualifier against Angola in Lagos. 77 minutes in, Okwaraji collapsed and never got up again. The cause was congestive heart failure, as his heart was large. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, worsened by high blood pressure. There was no warning, no time, no heartbreak. Nigeria lost the match that day, but it lost far more than 3 points. It lost a symbol, a national hero who bled green. He was just 25 years old when he passed on. We have Endurance Idahor. He had one of those careers that made noise outside Nigeria. A quiet assassin on the field. He started with the Ibino Babes and Julius Berger, where in 2003 he became joint top scorer in the league with 12 goals. But it was in Sudan that he became a star. In 2006 he joined Al Merrikh. By the time he was done, he racked up over 67 goals, carried them to their first CAF Confederations Cup final since 1989, and became one of the most loved foreign players in Sudanese league history. They adored him there for his goals, for his humility, for how hard he played. Even on loan in the UAE with Al Nassr SC, he kept scoring. He had 5 goals in 11 games, and he wasn't just a club man either. With the Nigerian under-23s, he wore the green with pride. 17 caps, 7 goals. He was ready, he was steady. And then March 6th, 2010, something happened. A Sudanese Premier League match, Al Merrikh versus Al Ammar. Idahor collapsed, no collision, no warning. He died on the way to the hospital, a suspected heart attack. Just like that, his death sent shock waves across Sudan. Mourning fans, candlelight vigils, from Port Harcourt to Khartoum, the grief was the same. We have Chineme Martins. March 8, 2020, Nasarawa United versus Katsina United. Just another league game in the NPFL. And then Chineme Martins collapsed. He wasn't fouled, he wasn't challenged, he just went down, and the world went silent. They tried to revive him, but it was chaos. No doctor on site, no working ambulance, no immediate emergency backup. By the time they got to the hospital, it was too late. The autopsy result never came out, but the system's failure was crystal clear. Martin's death sparked outrage. A young defender, known for his grit and hunger, lost not because of the game, but because of a system that didn't protect him. We have David Oniya. He was built for leadership. Born in Lagos, he carved his own road in obscure corners of football. From Azerbaijan in Neftchi Baku to Uzbekistan's Dynamo Samarkand, where he became captain, a rare feat for a foreigner. He wore the armband with pride, played like it meant something. Later, stints at other Azerbaijan clubs and eventually in Malaysia. In 2014, he joined T-Team FC and again became captain. They called him the General. On June 13, 2015, a friendly match, 3 minutes in, Oniya collapsed. He was taken to the hospital, but he was gone before they could even begin to help. Another heart attack, another slow ambulance, another warrior down. He was 30 with so much left to give. I have Bobsam Elejiko. This story spans countries and leagues, but his journey started at stationery stores in Nigeria. From there, he moved to Spain, joining Malaga's youth setup. Though he didn't make a senior appearance there, the door to Europe swung wide open. Belgium became his football home. He spent time with clubs like KV Turnhout, Westerlo, and Royal Antwerp. Between 2003 and 2007, he made 71 appearances, KVC Westerlo, a solid spell in the Belgian Pro League that made people notice. Tough in the air and calm under pressure, Elejiko was a centre-back with a real presence, but football can be cruel. On November 13, 2011, playing for K-Mexchem SC in Belgium's 5th tie, Elejiko collapsed during a match and never got up. The cause was a traumatic rupture of the aorta, a sudden silence killer. He was just 30. That moment silenced a career that still had room to grow, possibly in coaching, mentoring, and even management. Instead, it became another tragic chapter in Nigerian football's long book of what-ifs. We have Abubakar Lawal. Now, this one still feels too fresh. Abubakar Lawal was living that journeyman footballer life, the kind that takes you across borders, cultures, and leagues most fans only know from matchday scores. From Wiki Tories to Nasarawa United, and then across East Africa to AS Kigali in Rwanda, and finally Vipers SC in Uganda, Lawal was steadily building a name, and he wasn't just there to make up the numbers. He helped Vipers win a league and cup double in the 2022-2023 season. On February 18, 2023, he scored their first ever CAF Champions League group stage goal in a draw against Raja Casablanca. It was history. It was the kind of goal that made fans chant your name for years. But then, on February 24, 2025, tragedy struck. Lawal fell from the 3rd floor of a shopping arcade in Kampala. He did reportedly been visiting a Tanzanian friend in the building. That's all we know. The investigation is still open. The Nigerian Football Federation promised to get answers, but nothing can undo the shock of losing a 29-year-old athlete in such a way. And we have Gift Atulewa. He was one of those flying eagles who made Nigerians dream in 2005. That year, the under-20 side went all the way to the World Youth Championship final, and Atulewa played in 3 matches. They lost to Argentina in the final, but the team was stacked with talent, and Atulewa was part of that golden generation. His club career was all within Nigeria, but that didn't stop him from leaving a mark. Bayelsa United, Ocean Boys, and then Warri Wolves, where he played for nearly a decade. He wasn't flashy, but he was consistent, a workhorse, the kind of player coaches love to have. After retiring in 2016, he moved into coaching quietly, steadily. He even traveled to Cote d'Ivoire for a coaching course. But life took a tragic turn. In October 2024, his wife passed away. 1 month later, on October 12, Atulewa followed, dying from complications tied to high blood pressure. He was only 38. 2 deaths in 2 months. It shook his community, because if anyone deserved a second act in football, it was him. We have Uche Okafor. Now this one hot. Uche Okafor was part of that golden 1994 Super Eagles team, the squad that made Africans believe we could stand toe to toe with the best. The defenders didn't get the spotlights like Okocha and Yekini, but Uche was right there, playing every game as Nigeria clinched the AFCON title in Tunisia. He also went to World Cups. In 1998, he even got his shot on the grand stage in France. Club-wise, Uche had seen it all: Belgium, France, Germany, Israel, Portugal, and finally the United States, where he starred for the Kansas City Wizards. Over 100 games, an MLS Cup, and a Supporters Shield in 2000. Solid career. After retiring, he coached young players in Texas and was a football analyst for ESPN. A man still giving back, still involved. That's why the news of his death in January 2011 hit so hard. The authorities called it suicide, but the family didn't buy it. The FBI reportedly investigated it as a homicide, but no closure ever came. He was 43, and just like that, one of the pillars of Nigerian footballers' finest era was gone. We have Thompson Oliha. Oliha was built like a midfield warrior, strong, athletic, fearless. His game wasn't flashy, but it was effective. He could head, shoot, and command the center of the park. With 31 caps and 2 goals for Nigeria, he was one of the quiet engines behind the Super Eagles of 1988 to 1994. He was on the 1994 AFCON winning squad. He even got minutes at the 1994 World Cup in the unforgettable round of 16 clash with Italy. That team was Nigerians' first on the biggest football stage, and Oliha was part of it. His club career stretched across Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Israel, and Turkey. He was respected wherever wherever he went. But by 27, a knee injury cut everything short. No more matches, no more chances to build on that momentum. Still, he stayed in the game, coaching, mentoring. By 2013, he was at Kwara Football Academy. And then, just like that, he was gone. Malaria, the silent killer. He died in Ilorin on June 30. Gone at 44, another soldier fell way too early. We have Stephen Keshi, the big boss. Born in 1962, Keshi's football journey felt like a prophecy fulfilled. When he captained Nigeria to win the 1994 African Cup of Nations, he wasn't just lifting a trophy, he was lifting a nation's belief in itself. And when he returned decades later as a coach to do it again in 2013, he became a legend beyond legends. His nickname, the Big Boss, was no exaggeration. He commanded respect in every room he walked into, whether in the Super Eagles locker room or in coaching meetings across Africa. As a player, he earned 64 caps for Nigeria, scoring 9 goals, mostly while holding the back line. And yes, he was there in USA 94 when Nigeria made its World Cup debut. He stood tall, literally and metaphorically, leading a golden generation that included the likes of Finidi George, Rashidi Yekini, and JJ Okocha. Keshi wasn't just a national treasure, he was a continental force. In Europe, he made his mark at Anderlecht in Belgium, winning league titles and cups. He also had stints in France and Ivory Coast, proving his mettle in every terrain. But coaching was where his story became even more iconic. He took tiny Togo to their first ever World Cup in 2006, he managed Mali, and then he came home to Nigeria. In 2013, he led the Super Eagles to AFCON glory, becoming only the second person in history to win the tournament both as a player and a coach. The first African coach to lead a team to the round of 16 at a World Cup was him too during 2014 edition in Brazil. Keshi's story, though full of glory, ended too abruptly. In June 2016, just months after losing his wife, Kate, to cancer, Keshi died of heart attack in Benin City. He was 54. The shock was seismic. He was reportedly preparing to travel for medical treatment, but fate had other plans. His death was a national loss. He was buried with the honors befitting a warrior, and a new stadium in Asaba Delta State was named after him. We have Rashidi Yekini. Yekini wasn't just Nigeria's top scorer, he was the moment. When Nigeria needed magic in the 1990s, it often came from Yekini's boots. His goal against Bulgaria in the 1994 World Cup was Nigeria's first ever World Cup goal. That raw, emotionless celebration, clutching the net and screaming to the heavens, instantly became iconic. It wasn't just about football anymore, it was history, it was heart, it was home. Yekini was the top scorer when Nigeria finally clinched the African Cup of Nations title in 1994, netting 5 goals and claiming the tournament's golden boot. Before that, he had already written his name in bold across the African football scene with his record-breaking exploits for club and country. In 1993, he was crowned African Footballer of the Year, the first Nigerian to ever win it. That same year, he helped propel Nigeria into his first ever FIFA World Cup. From his days at Shooting Stars and Abiola Babes to his wild goal-scoring spree with Portugal's Vitória Setúbal, Yekini made defenders sweat across continents. He scored over 130 goals in his club career and remains Nigeria's all-time highest goal scorer with 37 goals in 58 appearances. On May 4, 2012, news broke that Rashidi Yekini had passed away at the age of 48. And just like that, silence fell across Nigeria. No fanfare, no headlines with ticker tape, just a stunned, almost disbelieving sadness that swept through the country. People were confused, angry, heartbroken. For a man who gave so much joy on the pitch, his final years had been quiet and painfully distant. Reports had trickled out years earlier that he has been battling mental health challenges. Some said he had become reclusive and withdrawn from public life. Others mentioned that he refused medical help, but details remained murky. No one really knew what Yekini was going through behind closed doors. He did always be private like that. So if you enjoyed the video, then you will enjoy this next video on the end screen. But don't forget to click the subscribe button and like.